let's break down what the heck we're looking at here. Again, don't be intimidated. This is quite simple. And also again, if you're looking at this already and you understand, oh, that's Perplexity, we got OpenAI over here, we have a router, and then we have some variables, and then we're going to build this out. I just want to build it, Clarion, blah, blah, blah. Let's skip through all this talk and start building. By all means, just skip through it. You're more advanced. Awesome. Kudos to you. But I do believe it's important, personally, no matter what level you are, to go through things incrementally, step by step. And if you can't explain something in a clear, easy way to understand, then how well could you actually understand it? So that's my challenge to myself, and that's what I'm going to do in this lesson. So if you're just excited about AI agents and you're not coming from a technical background, I encourage you to really take your time and let's go through this together. I have my computer science degree, and I know many of you do as well, or above and beyond that, but it's important to take a step back and then be able to explain things intuitively and simply. So this, as I mentioned in the last video, is our blueprint. That's going to be our social media management company, all right? Let's go through what everything is. I want to start at the very top. At the very top here, we have Perplexity AI. We're going to learn more about what this stuff is as we're building, and I'm going to give you clear terminologies and definitions that I'll provide as we're developing together. But basically, Perplexity AI, it's an AI-powered search engine that uses queries using NLP for retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. And we're gonna get into all that later on. That's not what this video is for. Basically, I want you to look at this more in terms of how does our social media system work, and we'll talk about the technologies after. So for now, this is our research agent. This is the trigger. So I'm going to say right here, just so you know, we're going to put an arrow here, and we're going to add a text, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. All right. So this is our researcher. So I could even just say researcher and trigger. And we're going to see every scenario that we build together has to start with a trigger. So we're going to keep this pretty simple. Basically, the trigger means it's the starting point. And we can have the trigger start however we want. All I mean by that is the trigger can be a timer, right? Every day we want to have our posts go out for our business or for us. Every morning we want to give an update on what our company's been up to or what we've been up to and share insightful information to get that engagement. That's that trigger. So we'd set up the timer. We'll see this when we start building. But our first trigger point is going to be the researcher. And we're going to have this researcher essentially that's going to find information for our example. And of course, you can then take that and turn it into anything you want from there. But in our example, will be a researcher that goes online, finds all the recent information, because we're going to build a newsletter on crypto together, essentially. Or we're going to build a news blog together, I should say, where essentially we're going to say all the latest news every day, and our social media is just going to post it for us every day, so we don't have to be thinking about it. We can be focusing on other parts of our business, all right? So we're going to have a researcher that gets all the relevant information and then sends that information over to and let's draw again. What do you think this is? Well, this over here, my friends, is going to be the actual brain, okay? That's our brain. So this is going to be our social media, spell it, social media brain. So, oh my goodness. Okay, so this, and again, these are AI-powered LLMs, essentially. These are large language models. Perplexity is going to be good because it's going to be able to research for us online. OpenAI is a wonderful choice to then take that information, and then through prompt engineering, we're going to be able to create a brain of our likeness to take the information, the research information, and then decide, hey, this is going to be the information that we want to highlight and talk about, and send over through a router to what? What are these? Well, let's actually get a different color because we're going to switch it up here. So these friends over here, these 4 friends, which can you guess who these guys are? These are our sub-agents. These are our employees that then essentially can do the work for us. They can create posts, as you can see, if you guessed correctly, that, let me zoom out so you can see everything here, that are then going to distinctively send out to each platform what that's going to be. Right? You can see it's going out LinkedIn, we're going out to Instagram, and we're going out to Facebook. All right? So that means, let's go back to our red color, and I'll put this here. So that means these are our agent or our sub, I'll say that these are our sub-agent employees. All right, so look at this. We're already getting a system of checks and balances. We have the researcher focused just on the research, and this is all a one-way data flow because we're using a system design tool with Make.com that's dependent on one-way data flows. And you can think to yourself, well, one-way data flow, that sounds limiting. But sometimes limiting actually enables you to create more robust solutions because then you basically can create pieces of a jigsaw puzzle and you can make them come together in a way that's easy to follow the flow and then can be reusable and still can be modular. All right. Now, it's not the only way to do it. There are like there are multi-level flow systems, or there are DAG systems, which I love as well, which N8N actually facilitates. But for this course, we're focusing on Make.com, which is like this one-way flow. Look, everything always has to flow one way. It doesn't flow back. Everything flows one way, and each input has one input, and each output has one output. All right, except for the router, of course, which still, though, you can argue has one input and then takes that same input and just routes that a mirror of what that output is. It's not dividing those inputs and dividing those outputs consecutively. It's just routing it outwards. But I don't want you to get confused. Let's keep it simple. Stop here. We'll continue this in the next lesson, but a quick review. What's happening? We have a researcher, essentially, for our social media brain. Take it slow. And make sure you take it slow and understand each step if you're confused. We have our perplexity, which is going to be a researcher, and it's going to trigger everything based on a timer event, which we're going to set up. Like every day, I want you to research what's going on in the world on, Google, check the news, then come up with important information and relay that to what? Well, relay that to our brain, to our social media brain over here. And that's us. We're going to define that. We're going to define all this through prompt engineering. Our brain is going to take the research, not our actual brain, because we're going to use our actual brain to play PlayStation or do other stuff. But our social media brain, which we're going to design in our likeness, is going to take that research and say, hey, today, this is what I like. This is what we need to talk about. Route that over to our sub-agents. These are basically our employees that are then going to focus that information and tailor it for each platform. One for Facebook, one for Instagram, one for X or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, and one for LinkedIn. Makes me laugh. It's like a hip-hop artist who changed his name. All right? So we're going to stop there. I want to keep moving forward with this and get more in depth, but let's stop right there. Make sure you understand it. If you're following me, fantastic. Okay? And in the next lesson, let's get even deeper with this. Make sure we have it all clear, and then I promise I'll shut up and we can actually start building it from scratch. Okay, see you there.